My name is Missy. I'm a little excited about this reading today because I've wanted to get this particular deck here for a while. It's the Mystic Martian Oracle. So what we're going to do is a pick a card reading. We're going to look at your starseed origins. I want to look at what are your starseed origins, and more specifically beyond that, because I've always been very interested in starseeds. I have to admit I don't know a whole lot about them, which is the reason that I wanted this particular deck. But beyond that, what are the crystals that are best suited for each starseed, right? So I want to ask that question today, which is why we have these two decks here. But more importantly, the reason that I'm doing this introduction is because of this particular deck. I just want to warn you before we get into the reading that this deck here is going to be a little bit explicit. It is called, as you can see, I'm not going to say what the title is. It's nicely bleeped out for me right there on the cover of the book. So as you can tell from the title, it's not going to be for the faint of heart, which is exactly what it says on the back of the deck. But it's an awesome deck. Just give it a chance. If you're okay with some explicit content, give it a chance. So this is the box for that particular deck here, and what it says, in case it's not abundantly obvious, this deck is not for the faint of heart. If you clutch your pearls at the sight of aliens wielding phallic probes, this may not be the deck for you. However, if you possess a cosmic one capable of abducting farmers from their land and love all things ray gun and UFO, this deck will help you embrace your power and delve into your own psyche. So we're going to do a reading today looking at the starseed archetypes from this deck. And I want to ask, not just what the starseed archetype is, and we're going to read from the book to see, it has some explanations in there. But I also kind of want to ask, what are you supposed to do with that? As well as, what are the crystals that are best suited for you? And we're going to do it in a pick a card format for each sign. So you'll see this introduction multiple times if you're watching for your sun, moon, and rising, or if you're cross-watching for other signs. Yeah, I think I've said everything that I need to say, other than these readings are meant to be timeless and general in nature. So if the details for this reading fit for your personality, right, because your personality or your situation, because that's really what you're looking at here with these archetypes. So like I say, I wanted to explain that I am not an expert on starseeds. That's the reason that I bought this book. I'm learning about it with you watching this video, or maybe you know more than I do about it. Maybe I'm learning about it and just sharing what I'm learning here with you. But I thought we could explore it together. So just take what comes from this reading only if it resonates for you. If it doesn't resonate for you, don't try to push it. Don't try to force it. You'll do more harm than good. And obviously, I'm not a doctor, lawyer, or accountant. So if you have questions concerning that kind of stuff, you really need to see a professional. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into your reading. Before we get completely into the reading, I want to go ahead and read what it says about starseeds here in the book. Let's see. Okay, so it says, starseeds prior to this or other Earth incarnations have experienced life elsewhere in cosmos other than Earth. Some starseeds have recall activated in their DNA due to Earth's limited recall access biosphere from ancient historical collective trauma. Others have no actual memories at all. All starseeds have an inkling, sensing, or knowing that this incarnation at some point originated and belongs to something somewhere far bigger. Many starseeds have an inner awareness level of consciousness development outside of the predictable mainstream narratives. Starseeds are typically spiritual in nature and have healing energies. Some are very new souls on Earth, while others are very old souls that have experienced many contracted incarnations on Earth to evolve and pass on ancient esoteric wisdoms. The newer souls will be continuing the older souls' work. Different starseeds will naturally resonate towards different aliens and galactic alliances. It is not uncommon for awakening starseeds to have dreams, memories of traveling ET crafts, or experiences of UFO encounters. Starseeds are here now to assist in the transitioning and activation of the collective consciousness on Earth. So, based on what it says there, I'm taking this to mean that, you know, you can belong to one particular starseed family but have interactions from many others. Hello, Gemini. So we're going to go ahead and do some charms at the end of the reading. But first, what I want to do is to pick a card. So we're going to choose 3 cards here, or 3 groups, to represent the starseed families to choose from. And then we'll go ahead and get 1 crystal at least for each group. And I'll give you a minute to decide. So please just remember that the crystals that we pull in this reading, because I am not expert enough at starseeds to be able to say with certainty that they are for everyone in that particular starseed family, please remember that this only applies to those of you watching this video who have chosen this group, or whatever group it is, I should say. We have the song Without Me, Halsey. Actually, that one's going to go in the middle. My bird bit my thumb yesterday and I'm having a hard time shuffling the cards. She actually got me pretty good on both thumbs, but this one on my right hand is almost completely healed. You can almost, well, you can almost not see the scar, I should say. Like, it's almost gone. She did not break the skin on this hand, thank God. It's just a bruise. I apologize for the lighting too. I guess it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it's a very stormy day today, so I can't really do any sunlight. It's just that one right here, the glare. Okay, group 1, group 2, and group 3. Hello, Group 1. So we're starting off with, I think it's, Hey Look Ma, I Made It. Yeah, Hey Look Ma, I Made It by Panic at the Disco. All right, so we're going to do charms a little later in the reading. Nephilim. Interesting. Now this is coming out with physical radiance or sulfur. This actually has come out quite a bit. We're going to go ahead and read from the book anyway, but I want to pull a couple more crystals for you because not everyone is going to want to work with sulfur, right? I mean, you could work with all other yellow or gold stones. But I have to be honest, what this is talking about is like the giants. And when you read the description in the book, it doesn't really say a whole lot other than it tells you all of the different historical references to giants, as well as their discovery, the skeletal discoveries. So, oh, interesting. This is the first time I've seen the woman here in the corner of this card. Oh, very interesting. Okay. What I was going to say is that I think you are very physically attractive. I think there's something about your energy, especially if you're tall, right? You're probably, like, you don't even really have to be tall. You could just have a tall personality, like a big personality that's very radiant and catches attention in some way. But the character traits that have to do with this is there, you know, it talks about being able to assess a situation, right? Be able to see things from a higher perspective, or from, you know, from a broader viewpoint, because, you know, the taller you are, the higher up you are, the more you can see, right? But there's also a controversial energy to this as well. Like maybe the things that you say, like if you have a big personality, maybe the things that you say can be a little bit controversial, especially with Gemini. Because, you know, Gemini, they like to talk. So I'm going to read from the book anyway for you, just because I've done it for all the other signs, but I do want to get a couple more crystals, because like I said, not everyone's going to want to work with sulfur. We have the song Peaceful, Easy Feeling, the Eagles. So that also plays in as well to this energy of what it says in the book about the Nephilim. Very, very grounded, earthy energy, right? Very strong as well. Like the strength there is, well, it's very obvious just looking at it. But you know, the size difference between the man and woman here, like if you are in a relationship, maybe one of you is very tall, and I think the tall one, like especially maybe even the masculine, probably has tattoos, right? There's probably something very striking and attractive about you. No, let's keep going. One more. Interesting hemimorphite on the bottom, the egoless state. And the reason that I say it's interesting is because with the sulfur here, the physical radiance, right? It's hard to be egoless. when you get that much attention. And I'm just saying, take it however it resonates for your situation. I'm just saying. Okay, look at all the green, and then we've got the boji stone with more yellow coming through. But this totally makes sense because look at this, talks about balance. We were just talking about the egoless state with the hemimorphite, and now we have malachite and moldavite. So malachite, emerald, and moldavite are all kind of related, right? Very emotionally healing stones. Incredibly emotionally healing stones. Now, moldavite, however, is more, it's like an empath stone, but moldavite is more, it's like, so what happens is you get emerald or malachite, right? And these are heart chakra healing stones. And they kind of start the process of healing, you know, different things that are happening here in the 3D. But then when you get moldavite, that's when you start to ascend into more consciousness. And once you start to ascend into a higher consciousness, different things around you start to happen. And God, I don't know if I'm going to make anybody angry when I say this. I don't mean to. It's just that I've seen so many people, and in fact, I had somebody actually argue with me about this, and because they said, you know, all of these things happened to me as soon as I put on a piece of moldavite. And I'm like, well, that didn't happen to you because you put on that piece of moldavite. That did not happen to you because you put on a piece of moldavite. I'm so sorry. Like, I know I work in this world and I use these crystals, but if you think picking up a crystal is going to be like what you see in the movies, like you're suddenly going to have all these changes happen simply because you've come into contact with this crystal, that's crazy. What's happening is you're becoming more aware of certain things. You're changing things inside, and that's changing things on the outside, which is creating these changes. That's why you were attracted to the moldavite, because you're ready to ascend to a higher level of consciousness after having healed what you can with either malachite or emerald. All right, malachite is a very divine feminine stone. So it could be that you've had to heal your divine feminine, or you do need to heal your divine feminine. I say that because I never noticed this woman here. You could have this ancestry and be female. I was reading it as male in the other readings where it came out, but I think in this reading, this is definitely for a feminine energy. And, you know, I'm sorry if you're masculine and you're watching this and you're offended by me saying that, but everyone has a balance of both masculine and feminine energy, regardless of what body you're born into. It's not about your body at all. We have the song Anomaly or Anomaly, Incubus, but it's really Anomaly. Okay. So, how are you supposed to use this? Let's find out. Now, that when we ask how you're supposed to use this energy in this life, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be your career. You know, this could just be some skill or ability that you have that affects the people around you in your daily life that, you know, you don't even really have to work at it, right? It could be a side effect of your career. It could be a side effect of your marriage, or your having children, or anything. It can manifest in so many ways. So try to keep an open mind with that. Also, you could be very unique, especially with these physical gradients, right? Like, that's probably the reason that you're so attractive. There's something very unique about you. All right, one more. I feel like that's the bottom row, but I need one more for this row here. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, so we have the Four of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. Either you're holding on too tightly to something that you need to let go of, or you need to hold on more, you know, a little more tight. Like maybe you need to save your money. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's look at the rest of this real quick. Okay, so we have Death. Hold on. Oh, Death, the Tower, Five of Pentacles. Hold on. Goes like this. Now we've got the Ace of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles. It's all about money, and the Magician. And this is you here. You could be dealing with a Scorpio. Doesn't have to be, but it, you know, those are the two main energies coming through here. We also have Uranus or like Aquarius energy with this Uranus, Saturn, Mars, right? So this is Aquarius, Aries, Scorpio, and Capricorn. And again, like I say, Scorpio here, and then we've got you, which is Gemini here. Okay, so looking at this energy, I feel like it's like, I have to be honest with you, I'm asking like, how are you supposed to use this energy here to your advantage? It's saying like, it's talking about your physical beauty, like maybe you're meant to use your physical beauty to make money in some way. I don't take it however it resonates for your situation. I just have to read it the way I'm seeing it, because looking at these cards, it's saying like there's some sort of something that happens that leaves you feeling either destitute or maybe living in your car or something. It's like a warning about that, because that's what the tower is. And in this particular tower, you see that the tower is on fire, but the people, or you know, they're sitting in the tree watching it burn, right? Typically with the tower, you would see people have either fallen, or I should say, someone has either jumped or someone's been pushed or fallen, right? But here they look like they've gotten out safe because they've heeded the warning, right? They've paid attention to the warning signs. And it's saying if you do that and save your money, right? Like heed the warning signs, get out while you can, save your money, you'll be okay, but you're definitely going to need to use either your looks, your charisma, your attractiveness, something about your unique, something about the way that you look that's very unique. You need to use that to your ability, especially if you're very tall, because that's the thing about the giants. Did I read from the deck or from the book what it says? I don't think I did. Hold on, let me see what number that is. 15. And you know, I just realized too, 15, that breaks down to a 6, which is the number of Venus, or the number of money. We have Head Over Heels, the Go-Go's. It's actually been playing for a couple of minutes and I meant to point it out, but I got distracted. So let me get my glasses. So the Nephilim are also known as Anakin, Els, and Elohim. The Nephilim were the humanoid giants of ancient times on Earth that simply died out during the last great flood. They stood at 14 feet tall and sometimes even taller. Their origins are unclear. Some sources say they originate from Canaan. Genesis chapter 6 verse 4 states that they are the sons of God. We have the song, hold on. The song Later Boy, Ashniko, and it's spelled L8, the number 8, and R, Later Boy. I don't know if you can see that. Of course it's not going to focus. Whatever. Later Boy, L8RBOI, Later Boy, Ashniko. So anyway, Okay, Genesis chapter 6 verse 4 states that they are the sons of God. Later interpretations of this led to the relabeling of them as the fallen ones. The Nephilim were pre-Diluvian and possibly of the original genetic seeding programs. Discovered bones are as old as 50,000 to 300,000 years old. The Hebrew Torah makes mention of Nephilim giants, and the Old Testament book of Samuel mentions Goliath the giant. The book of Enoch makes reference to the giants, as do the Dead Sea Scrolls. The ancient Greeks call their giants the Cyclops and Titans. Scandinavian pagans mention stories regarding ice giants and trolls. The New Zealand Maori have stories about the red-haired Patuparehe giants that inhabited New Zealand first. In 1911, the ancient Nevada Sitka tribe discovered mummified red-haired giants that coincided with their passed-down stories. Giant bones were also discovered in Alaska and Mexico and in the Denisova Cave in Siberia. The Nephilim have a complex and controversial history that sometimes weirdly overlaps into Anunnaki genetic history. So the card meaning is for the personality traits, meaning your personality or something about you is very controversial. You're assessing, you're critiquing, you probably have ESP, you have brute strength. There's either something about you that's very tempting, or you are very tempted by many things. You easily gain a new perspective and new ideas. You're very hopeful, processing, rustic. When it's in its reversed or toxic energy, that means that you're critical, condemning, chauvinistic, crude, your perspectives are outdated, and your expectations are unrealistic. Excuse me for a minute, there's someone at my door. Okay, so I apologize for that. I am back. I know that we were just reading the description of the Nephilim from the book, and we were talking about how you should use, your unique appearance to your advantage, right? There's something about your appearance that's very unique. Very interesting. I think what we're going to do is actually, so I have to come back to this again, because look at the way these two girls seem to be looking at the, at you, right? Or I would say, yeah, at you. It's like they're admiring you. I don't know. And then again, it's something that you do. It's very attractive, very unique, something about the way that you look, something that's very unique in some way. I feel like I need to say it again. Look at, she's looking in the mirror here, right? And as we said in the very beginning, a physical radiance. So, and I definitely think you are a feminine. Or if you're, yeah, I definitely think this is feminine. It's definitely, because the malachite is divine feminine energy. I almost questioned myself, but there's no question. This is absolutely divine feminine energy. Interesting. Look at, now we have the song 3:33 p.m. exactly. I wonder if your friends around you are kind of, I don't know, but we've got the song STFU, shut the fuck up. Literally, that's what the lyrics are. She says, shut the fuck up. Literally, like, I think that would be so much fun if you'd shut your pretty face. I really wish that I cared, but that's not the case, right? Interesting. Let's get some, whatever more detail or clarification, anything extra that they want to add to this. when we move on to the charms, what we're going to look at is what you need to be aware of over the next month regarding this energy that we've already spoke of, this need to, and actually, I gotta say, there might be something about, because look at, okay, so I kind of said it in the beginning, like Gemini is kind of known for talking a lot, right? It's kind of a joke in the astrology community. Like you see it with all of those memes that are not really fully informative. They're just more funny than anything, right? So if it's talking about using your physical radiance, your beauty to your advantage, and this song is coming through for a Gemini who probably talks too much, you know, it might be like maybe you're in a field where you have to speak, and it would be more lucrative for you to get into a field where you do not have to speak. At least not quite so much. Man, I love me some Geminis, but I gotta tell you, if you know, just the non-stop talking Geminis are very hard to take. I have to be honest about that. They're very hard to take. Like, how do you know exactly what you're saying if you're not taking a minute to think? I don't get it, but okay. Anyway, that's my rant, and I'm over it. I'm so sorry. I really do love me some Geminis. I get along very well with Geminis. I feel like we want that one. And this little stack, let's see what that is. We have the song, oh, it's bass solo, Incubus. It's the live bootleg version, it says, from Kuala Lumpur. Very interesting. You might be a musician, right? We had the song Shut the Fuck Up first, now we have bass solo. You might be a musician who is also a singer. You might be trying to get ahead by being a singer, and the actual answer might be rather to just play the music. Take it however it resonates for your situation. We're just going to do it like this because I feel like it just needs to go this way. All right, let's see what we got. You notice how, look at this imagery here, he's tossing something in this one, and this is the close-up of it, but that actually comes before you see him toss it. There's like the energy of tossing something up in the air. It is an offer. Someone, I think you see it coming before it is even coming. Someone is going to toss some sort of offer up in the air to you, but you're going to have to use your best judgment as to whether or not it's right for you, because of the three eyes here in this card. Literally use your intuition, your higher self, your best judgment. That's number one. Okay, look at King of Ray Guns, which is the King of Swords. And now we have the Three of Specimens with the Seven of Discs, or the Seven of Pentacles, basically. The Three of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles. And then we have, look at King of Ray Guns, Queen of Ray Guns. This is about a partnership or contract. Like if you're single and looking to get married, and God, I hate that I was getting, I'm still give this message, because like, you know, sometimes when you do these readings, you have to take your own personal judgment out of it. And if I was listening to this reading, I would be thinking, oh my God, it sounds like she's saying to use her looks to find a man, right? But if you're single and you're looking for someone, that's a message coming through. There's a possible partnership, like a soulmate partnership happening here. King and Queen of Ray Guns. And it could be because of your attractiveness or somebody's attractiveness, and there's like this offer that's kind of be like tossed out in the air, but you have to use your best judgment. Like, I don't know. Right here we have the Three of Cups with the Seven of Discs. The Seven of Discs literally is thinking or being patient about something. Like you literally have to take that, you have to pause a little bit or wait. And we have this song, hold on. We have the song Blood Water by Grandson. Anyway, the Three of Specimens, this is like celebration or partying with your friends, like having fun with your friends. It's like you have to think about having fun with your friends. Maybe you would have to give up fun with your friends or something for this offer. Or you'd have to think about, because the Three of Cups sometimes can also talk about like you're like drinking, so maybe you would have to really think about what you're consuming if you take this offer, especially if it's an offer that has to do with the way that you look, right? Or some sort of creative performance, something or other. We all know how, you know, your appearance is very important when it comes to that stuff, right? Like you might want to be very careful and make sure that you're eating healthy foods so that you're not, like you don't want stuff to cause health problems, right? You don't want to be smoking and drinking and that kind of stuff. So you have to really think about that. And beyond that, you don't want to be eating like high fat, high sugar, like, you know, foods that you know are not healthy for you. You should be eating foods that are healthier for you. It doesn't mean you have to be skinny. It just means that you need to have, like, the energy here is something along the lines of you're going to need to take care of your health. You may even have to reconsider the time you spend with your friends, to be really honest. I'm going to be very honest about this. I feel like there's this, because this one looks very stern, right? I don't know, he just looks dead set. It's like it almost feels like he says, look, I meant what I said. And that's kind of the expression on his face, right? And she's kind of going, oh, really? Right? Like, excuse me? Let me think about this for a minute, especially one right over the other with the three eyes, right? Anyway, take that however it resonates. This was just a little extra information coming in. We're going to go to the charms now to see what you have to be aware of over the next month regarding this energy here. This unique, this uniqueness about you, that this uniqueness about your appearance. What do you need to be aware of regarding that over the next month? We have the song "I Want to Break Free," Queen. Okay, so Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising. Some of those tried to jump out of my hand. I don't know which one they were, but anyway. Okay, so we're going to start with the first house here. All right, if you have kids, you may need to kind of assert your values or pay attention to your money or something. Like, it did come out and upside down, so it's something that you're not aware of, or either you're not aware of it or something that you're trying to ignore when it comes to your children. That is concerning either your values or your money that you're going to need to talk about probably within 2 months. Like, it's not going to be this month, but at least within 2 months from the time you watch this, right? Because this is a blue apatite. I almost called it kyanite, but it's not, it's apatite. But either one is both throat chakra stones. Right. An interesting thing about this one, some people say that the blue and green apatite can help with like eating. I don't know if that's true or not. I think it has to do with like changing your mindset, that type of thing, getting healthier. But just take it however it resonates for your situation, right? Especially if, like, maybe you don't know you're pregnant yet and you find out you're pregnant and you have to start eating a lot healthier, right? That could be definitely, especially also we have the shooting stars here in the middle. So there's like some sort of dream coming true or wish coming true, right? Something that you're going to feel very happy about, that you're going to need to focus on. Okay. So in the third house, we have this tiny little piece of purple fluorite. Very like third eye, crown chakra attuned energy with this stone. Very mental and psychic energy. And it was sitting right over the fire element as well, which really makes sense because it connects to spirit anyway here. So, and that's coming out over the third house. So it's kind of telling me that there's like messages coming in, a lot of messages coming in, probably intuitive messages, or what is this? It has to be some sort of intuitive, like there's some sort of, or maybe you're trying to communicate your passion for something. Take it however it resonates for your situation, because it could really go both ways. It does feel like passionate communication that's spiritual, like spiritual messages. But you could be communicating those as well. Okay, so with the fourth house, we have our tourmalated quartz. So you need to get balanced when it comes to family and security. Get balanced around the house, maybe clean up around the house, look at the security around your house, pay attention to that kind of stuff. Especially because it was sitting over the earth element, right? So that's like the material world. So it could be talking about your actual house. It's also, we have the song Slumber Party, Ashniko. So if you're having people over to your house, pay attention to security. Clean up as well. In the fifth house, this is the house of like children, creativity, and romance. There's someone you need to cut off with this axe. It needs to be swift and permanent, like no going back. Swift and thorough with the axe. Chop the head off, like chop the head off the snake, basically. Somebody or something needs to be cut off, cut out of your life. Cut off, really. Not cut out, just cut off. You need to cut something off. That's what a axe does. It chops something up into pieces. So it could be either a child or a romantic partner. Okay, so we don't have anything in the sixth house, but in the seventh house, when it comes to like your relationships with others, probably especially if you're single and looking to date, you've got the peacock, but it was upside down, right? It's like you're afraid to be yourself. You're afraid to show all of the shiny, come on, focus. You're afraid to show all of your beautiful feathers. You're hiding all that beauty from others. Why? Let it show. Then we also have the footsteps coming out of the eighth house. So I think this is like your ancestors supporting you, helping to guide you along the way. Think about the footsteps poem. That's what I think about every time I see this. It's support. It's Jesus or spirit or whatever you believe in saying, you know, when you thought that you were alone, I was here supporting you. Come on, focus. There we go. It's also grounding as well because it is feet. But yeah, if you work in mediumship, you need to you need to stay grounded. But it feels more along the lines of your ancestors are supporting you and helping to guide you along the way, along this path. in the 9th house, we have the palm fronds. So I always associate the palm fronds with like Palm Sunday and going to church and reaching out to your community, right? So I see this as reaching out to others or someone reaching out to you. But because this is coming through to the 9th house, this is you, I think, reaching out to others who are different than you, connecting with others, learning about, you know, even studying through your connection with others that are different from you. That's important. It should be your focus over the next month. So coming over the 10th house with career and your reputation, you have the grapes. And this one, I'm not even going to try to get it to focus because even I have a hard time seeing it in person what the little grapes bundle looks like. But that's what it is stamped in there. Is a little what you call it, bundle of grapes. So anyway, it's abundance, right, coming out in your career, but that's like several months out, probably attached to something that's happening now. Person, place, or thing with the initial A. And then we have the inner journey rune. This is the rune of like the 9th house, right? This would be like the rune that corresponds a little bit to shadow work, right? Meditation, but it's sitting in the neutral position. That's how it came out here. And it was over the water element, which is telling me that in order for you to, like, you have to get balanced in order to get aligned to whatever this is here, okay? And that will bring the abundance within several months. Coming out over the 11th house, you've got the wolf, which maybe you need to get into contact or get in touch with your extended family, because this is the your house, the house of networking, your wider network and circle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that here. I hope it resonates. If it does not, please stick around for your sun, moon, or rising. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, hit the notification bell, anything you can to help me, and it definitely does help me. So I thank you very, very much for watching. Hello, group 2. So we're starting your reading with Through the Never, Metallica. Oh, and you have the Syrians. You're the first group to get the Syrians with red jasper. Look at the color scheme and how it's just so perfect together, right? And so this is like red jasper says nurturing here, but it's really about like being grounded, being secure. And here it's talking about responsibilities, lessons, growing up. So there's a lot of like Saturn energy, maturity, but emotional maturity coming through with the imagery here. I actually feel like there's like Pisces energy coming through. You could be a Pisces or have Pisces prominent in your chart in some way. Maybe you, well, interesting. Okay, so I'm just listening to this Metallica song, which kind of fits with the, you know, the kind of Saturn jasper feel. It's heavy metal, right? But this isn't really, you know, it's just red. It's very heavy, earthy, grounded energy, but still it's Saturn kind of energy, heavy. Let's get a couple more crystals before we read what it says about Syrians in the book. I just want to see, not everyone is going to like red jasper or want to work with it, so let's see what the other crystals are that would be appropriate for you. Like where it keeps saying like twisting, turning through the never, and I kind of feel Pisces energy coming from this, which is very Neptunian, right? Like maybe there's something to do with Neptune, Saturn in your chart that's important. Like maybe getting yourself grounded because you spend a lot of time in Neptunian energy or in Piscean energy. And look at, we have lodestone, which is, again, Earth's embrace. I really feel like that fits here. So we're definitely going to put it there, but I want to get at least one more. Again, get grounded. There's a lot of water here. We do see some mountains in the background, but like, get grounded. Oh, I don't want that many, but we want this one at least. Hit on through the never we must go. Look at now the kunzite and the way that it's totally fitting with the card, right? And kunzite is like, it says heart activation on the card, but this is like a family unity stone, right? Maybe there's something about you need to bring your family together in some way. Especially with through the never, right? Twisting, turning through the who we are as forever. Anyway. Okay. So we have opal, pearl, and iolite. All of the cards on the bottom definitely all together. You would want to wear these together. Do not mix these with these at all. That's very clear to me immediately as soon as I see them. Because these are very watery, receptive stones. Literally with the pearl. Actually the opal as well. You can't get either one of these stones without water. I'm not sure. I'm not like a gemologist. I don't know how iolite is made, but I would imagine, you know, there's some water aspect there too, but anyway, it's a very watery psychic stone. A lot of watery Neptunian energy coming through here with this Syrian's card. So if you're going to use these, here's the thing. I feel like, especially if you work with Neptunian energies on the regular, like whether this is through creativity, like Neptunian energies would be fantasy, creativity, acting, writing, cosplay, makeup, you know, anything where Venus is exalted, right? Anything where beauty, as you can see from the card itself, it's a very beautiful card. Anything where beauty is going to be important, that's coming through very clear here. Whenever you want to channel that energy, these are the stones you want to use. But they're saying the rest of the time you need to get very grounded because you're spending too much time in this energy and not enough energy, or not enough time in that energy there. That's very clear to me right off the bat. So let's go ahead and read what it says about this Syrian's bee. I don't know if I mentioned this song yet. Rock the Dream. Okay, Syrian's bee. Okay, Syrian bee beings are from the Sirius binary, possibly trinary star system. Sirius B is the white dwarf companion star that was once larger than Sirius A, where Syrian B beings reside. Now, I just want to point out we are talking to Gemini, and so, you know, when they talk about either binary or trinary, that really makes sense because Gemini is the twin, at least, you know, so it makes sense for the binary. But anyway, let's keep going. So Sirius B is the white dwarf companion star that was once larger than Sirius A, where Syrian B being reside. The shamanic Dogon tribe of West Africa revere their ancient teachings on their deity Nomo, who was a Syrian B star being that was said to arrive in a massive flying boat that instructed them in complex astronomy and ancient history. Dogon artifacts dating back 400 years have accurate orbits of the stars before astronomers had telescopes. Nomo informed the Dogon shamans that humanity's descent of consciousness was due to materialism and greed. That doesn't surprise me. Some suggest certain renegade Sirius B ETs may have sold out and are responsible for providing advanced interdimensional technology to clandestine government agencies for the Montauk and Philadelphia projects, which inside sources say failed miserably with terrible consequences. Sirian B beings are bipedal with amphibian and aquatic features. They are superb in water and have advanced civilizations and technology to navigate cosmos. Sirian B beings visited and interacted with ancient Babylonian, Akkadian, and Sumerian civilizations. So the card meaning, okay, when it's in its healthy manifestation, hold on, we have the song Ghost Story by Carrie Underwood. I think that's the name. Yeah, Ghost Story. Okay, so when it's in its healthy energy, the energy is that of sink or swim, right? Having to face the facts, growing up, adolescence, responsibilities, being bisexual, preoccupied, integration, lessons, other commitments, entertainment, training, apprentice, or the novice. If it's kind of toxic, there's self-loathing, shame, regret, remorse, having a chip on one's shoulder, immature, wrong attitude, and self-sabotage. Okay, so I feel like it's really saying, like, other than what we already saw here about getting yourself grounded, you have to get yourself balanced emotionally. Now that we've read what this is like in its unhealthy, especially with the shame, regret, self-loathing that was coming through with that, right? Like you don't want to be feeling any of that when you're creating at all. And that's what this is, creative energy down here, psychic creative energy. The opal is one of my absolute favorite stones. And the reason for it is because it's of its manifestation ability, and you know, the reason that it's such a great manifesting stone is because it amplifies your emotions. So you have to be very careful if you're going to use it, if you're going to wear it, right? You don't want to use it in ritual if you're angry. Like, you know, you have to be very careful with that. You don't want to use it in prayer if you're sad or depressed or loathing yourself, right? Like, so it's very important to get yourself grounded and balanced. Okay, so let's get some tarot to see how is it that you need to use this energy. Okay. We have the song Pray For Me, Anthony Hamilton. Oh, Lord. Okay, interesting, because I already know what's going to happen here. That happened so that some of the cards would end up reversed, because I try really hard not to read reversals unless something like this happens. So now I know I have to go with it, which means I'm going to have to fix the deck before the next reading. And yes, that frustrates me a little bit. You know, one of the other things that I always tell people in these readings is that whatever happens is in the reading, I always take it as part of the reading, right? So it could be that you might be working on a project, especially with this song here, Pray For Me, right? Like, I'm kind of frustrated. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm kind of frustrated right now that I'm going to have to go through and fix my deck. So maybe there's something about this project that you're working on where you're going to have to go through and fix some stuff, and it's very frustrating for you, right? And you're like, man, Lord, help me. Pray for me. Okay, hold on. Let's get a few more shuffles, see what we're dealing with here. I do feel like it is definitely creative, beauty-wise, something beautiful, visual. One more. Okay. Okay, we have the Empress in reverse, which means all of that water that she's sitting in is getting ready to drown her. Her emotions are getting ready to drown her. And this song is about someone who regrets cheating. Take that however it resonates for your situation. We have the Nine of Wands. We have the Four of Pentacles and the Chariot in the reverse. This is like someone refusing to come out of chaos. Someone is refusing. Well, the Four of Pentacles in the reverse is, you know, you need to let go of something. Maybe you're trying, or you have tried really hard to let go of something or someone, right? But there's still chaos when the Seven, or when the Chariot is in the reverse. There's definitely chaos. Like the people that are inside of your chariot, at the very least, if you're upside down, that passenger is going to fall out of the chariot and get hurt. And that's a very important royal passenger, right? So this chaos did something that possibly hurt somebody who was really, really important, and someone really regrets it. Now, whether that's you or not, I don't know how that is coming through with this. You know, maybe this is where the way that you are supposed to use this energy here is through your relationship, your love. Like maybe you need to have your love correct in order to have this here correct, or to be able to accomplish this down here. It's just the way that it's kind of coming across, and it does feel like a refusal with the Chariot in the reverse, because the Chariot is a very personal card. It's one of the major arcana. It's part of the Fool's journey, which is the journey that we all go through when we mature in life. And so when the Chariot is in the reverse, you're not even trying to control the horses anymore. Maybe you can't. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's ask a little bit more. All right, actually, you know what? Let's get our clarification with our extra special deck. Hold on one second. We have the song I Like You, Post Malone. This deck of cards, I love it, but it's so hard to shuffle. All right, hold on. Let me get my cards fixed. They looked so pretty a minute ago. What happened? It's a mess. Oh, I accidentally turned my deck upside down. I do not do that. So anyway, let's get some clarification on the Chariot. Let's see if there's anything else they want to say before let's try one more just to see. I'm not going to pull any myself, only if they fall. Oh, that's way too many. Hold on. Okay, that's enough. That's way too many. We've now got the Four of Pentacles again, but now it's in the upright. And look at, now she's like, here, you can have it. I'm not holding on to this any longer. Look at that expression. Like, bitch. Sorry. She's like, who do you think you are? Take it. It's yours. This is no longer my responsibility to carry. Thank you very much. Sorry. Oh my God. Okay. So we have, where this one was the extra one, right? God, I confused myself there for a second. I got a little too caught up in her expression. Okay. So we have the Death card, but interesting, look at, it's like all of his many eyes, right? They're all focused on this flower. He looks kind of shocked, like, ooh, what's that? Like, ooh, like, the Death card is Scorpio energy, but it's like, ooh, something has either caught your attention or somebody else's attention. I should mention, I think I did mention this song, I Like You, Post Malone. Okay, so that's kind of what's going on here. All right, and look at all of the discs. Discs, 5 of discs, 6 of, ooh, right in a row, 5, 6, 7, and you saw me shuffle those. 5, 6, 7, ascending energy. So this is rejection or feeling like you're, there's lack, like there's something missing, like there's something you need that you can't find, and then boom, here's the recognition. And over here we've got like the 7 of discs. Oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the camera. The 7 of discs, you notice she's got that wrench in her hand? Like, it talks about, like maybe you feel like you're not getting the recognition you need, and it's because you're still fixing your ship down here, right? You're like, you can't get up there and fly with everyone else quite yet because you got to make some repairs, a little tinkering, right? So I feel like there's some frustration, and you might be a little distracted as well. We have this song, hold on. Don't Stop, Fleetwood Mac, and it's 4:11 time, or excuse me, 4:11 exactly, if I can get it to show. Come on, show. 4:11 right there. Anyway, Don't Stop, Fleetwood Mac. So whatever you're doing, don't give up, don't stop, keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't let yourself get distracted either. But I think somebody else is getting distracted by you, or maybe they're, maybe whatever you're doing is starting to catch attention, something. Interesting. The part that keeps catching my attention of the song, I wasn't even going to call it out, except it keeps saying yesterday's gone, which is calling me back to this 4 of Pentacles up here. She's like, here, you can have it. I don't want to carry this anymore, which is like whatever it was here in this 4 of Pentacles that you needed to let go of, and you were kind of refusing to let go of the chaos, right? Refusing to manage the chaos inside of you, or the whatever it was that was going on. Oh God, this is so many. I didn't want to read all of these. Hold on. Look at, there's the Chariot again. Didn't we have the Chariot somewhere else? Didn't we just talk about that? I'm sure we did. Hold on. I know I'm not. Yeah. Oh, it's that one right there. Duh. Oh my God. Maybe I need to pay attention. Okay. The 2 of Probes, the 8 of Specimens. So funny that you get the... I'm so sorry. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Okay, I just have to read this the way that it's like... Okay. It keeps saying, like, don't you look back, don't, like, yesterday's gone, don't you look back. So funny, especially with all of the imagery of these cards. This is why I love this deck, but it's so, I know I can't do, I don't know, maybe we'll see how this reading does. If I can get away with this one and the little bits of, you know, that's been showing, maybe I'll do more with just this deck. But anyway, we have to see how popular this reading is too, by the way. So share. Anyway, so, we have like the Tower with the 10 of Cups, or the 10 of Cups, or the 10 of Specimens first. And look at, somebody's getting booted from the Tower, right? There were 3, there was a family, but somebody got booted. Ooh, hold on, we got the song Whole Lotta Love, Led Zeppelin, but in the beginning it says, you be fooling, hold on, something, hold on, if you be fooling, something, I don't know, look up the lyrics, but in the very first lyrics caught my attention. So anyway, somebody's getting kicked out of a relationship, more energy like this over here, right? More kicked out. It's probably because like you hear like the gossip, right? Because that's the tower. If something sudden comes out of nowhere and shatters this rainbow, whatever, that's probably what happened in this past, whatever it is that you need to let go of. So someone's getting kicked out, right? It's this one that has me laughing, right? Because you've got well, I don't want to be too explicit, but basically, if you look at the 2 of probes and then you watch this 8 of specimens as he's leaving, and you notice this trail of, is that goo behind the specimen? Or behind the worm, I mean. And then you've got all these specimens here, and then here's somebody going, here, take your pick. You take your pick between 2, by the way, even though this is the king of specimens. Take this however it resonates for your situation. There could be a lot of specimens left behind, is what I'm saying. But there's something about, there's a choice between 2, right? One of them has left a lot of specimens behind, obviously, and there's just a trail. It's obvious. Anyway, I'm going to stop here while I'm ahead, if I'm ahead. Oh my God, I wish you could hear where the music is at right now. Oh my God, if you listen to the song and just try to play back this video to the spot where I'm talking about the specimens, because there's a certain part of the song. Oh Lord. Okay. I'm going to move on to the charms. Okay. I promise I'm an adult. All right. Okay, let's see what's happening with the charms for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Okay. So in the center, we have some interesting, very interesting charms. Number 1, we're going to look at these 2. Because it's the Sagittarius charm, which is upside down, but it's sitting on top of the bellows. And if you know anything about a bellows, it is an old-timey tool used to keep the fireplace or the hearth going. So maybe you'd like to restart or renew, reinvigorate something with a Sagittarius. That might be your focus for this month, especially with this song and the area of the song that we were at in the, moments before we came to this interpretation. So together with that, we also have the cowboy hat, which is upside down as well. And the only time you would take your cowboy hat off is if the work is done and it's time to rest, right? What's interesting to me, though, okay, so there's actually a dual message coming through here. Number 1, you have to cut off a Leo, but we're going to get to that in a second. So the work is done for right now. It's not like okay, so you can't breathe new life into a situation with anyone, Sagittarius or not, right? If you're not doing any work. So that's number 1. But right now they want you to pause, because you have this energy coming through. And look at, you've got this blue fluorite coming through twice, and it's in the 12th house as well as in the very center. And then you've also got another piece of tourmalated quartz coming through in the 12th house. So it's a dual message. It's your main message, but it's also what's in the 12th house, which is those things that you hide, those things that are hidden from you. Could be hidden enemies, but it can also be like hospitalization, right? Somebody in jail, right? Or fantasies, dreams, dream time, subconscious stuff. So anyway, the blue fluorite is like, it's like a throat chakra stone, but it's also a very mental stone. All fluorite is a mental connection stone. It connects your upper chakras from the throat all the way up, right? It helps you study, which I feel like that's very important here, but also you have the tourmalated quartz, which talks about getting clear. It's for your own protection. Study and get clear for your own protection, because there's something hidden from you that's very important to this situation over here. But also attached to that are the scissors, which is saying that you need to cut either a Leo off. More than likely this is a friend of yours who's probably a Leo, part of somebody that feels like family though. Maybe it's an extended family member that you're going to need to cut off or cut out of your life, or cut off your pride, cut off your ego, cut your ego out of the equation, and allow yourself to study your subconscious, study that which you fantasize about or that which you long for, especially within the next couple of months, right? Especially anything related to healing that will protect you as well. Protection from hidden enemies is important as well, especially because of this energy right here. Like this could be, you could have a friend, and also we're talking about fire signs because of Leo, but this is falling in for Gemini rising. You would have Aries on the 11th house anyway, so more fire energy. So it could be an Aries or Leo in your extended family, in your network, somebody you consider family, something like that, that you might need to do a little bit more research into, because they might be a hidden enemy that you need to protect yourself from. Interesting that we have the arrow coming out in your first house when you had Sagittarius with his, you know, bow and arrows as his, you know, part of his daily routine, right? The arrow is about being on point, hitting your target, aiming for your target, right? Taking aim. I think you're going to be on point, though, is kind of what it's saying. There's something about being on point, being on target, being on the path, on your right path. Being precise as well, especially with this energy about studying for your own protection because of hidden enemies. Also pride coming into it. Interesting that we have smoky quartz coming out twice here. So you've got like dual messages coming through. So that's in the 8th and 9th houses. And I know I'm skipping the 10th house here. Give me 1 second. So smoky quartz has to do again with like, well, this is transmuting energy, right? Over here, you're clearing your energy for your own, and balancing, like you're getting clear on something for your own protection. But over here, the protection comes in because you get rid of the negative and turn it into something positive. Like you gain wisdom from it, and then you integrate that wisdom so that, you know, it heals you and that protects you. And that's coming out over the 8th and 9th houses. So this is surrounding like joint resources, ancestral issues, what your subconscious, your higher values and traditions. It could be issues around sex and death, your higher education, law, what you know to be right or what you believe to be right, and then, you know, as opposed to what other people believe to be right, because this is, both of these houses deal with other people. Joint resources here, so your money is mingled with other people, but then whatever it is that you're doing, you're having to, you're trying to turn something negative into a positive with people who think differently from you in the 9th house. And we keep the song "Take It to the Limit." He keeps saying "take it to the limit" over and over as I'm saying this here. So maybe you're having to like push in some areas in here, and I feel like there, because you've got clear quartz coming through in the 10th house, like it's saying get clear, get clear with all of this in order to get clear in your career, or stay on path, or something in your career, your reputation, to clear your reputation maybe. And I just realized this actually is the piece of opalite, which is a piece of man-made glass. It's just one of those very clear pieces of it that has very little sheen, right? It's kind of deceptive. It looks a little bit like a piece of clear quartz, but it's really not. So maybe there's somebody, again, over here we saw that already, where you might have to protect yourself against somebody in your network. So that's part of what you need to get clear on here, because there's something that's either a lie or something that's been made up or man-made, right? That you need to, so that's part of the reason you need to study before you speak, or think before you speak in some way. And then we have the inner journey, or the shadow work rune coming out over the 7th house, but it was kind of sitting right on the cusp between the 7th and 8th houses, and it was in the upright. This one is spelled E-I-H-W-A-Z. I don't want to mispronounce it, but I think it's, well, I don't want to mispronounce it. I don't even want to try and accidentally butcher it. Anyway, this is the inner journey, strength and stability, the yew tree, right? So it's saying that you need to really do some like introspective work to make sure that you're being fair in your relationships, or not just fair, but that you're really seeing your relationships clearly. Like, is there true stability in your relationships? Again, this is coming into question. We have the song, hold on. End Up With You, Carrie Underwood. So we have more messages of protection, as well as connection and communication, because this is meteorite, but it's black meteorite, right? So this is like your connection. We're already looking at your starseed family, so your connection to your starseed family is very protective for you, and that's what's putting you, it's like that's what puts you on the right path. But you've got the number 7. This number 7 is about being on your path. It's a very spiritual number. It's like the number of God, right? But it's made up, your number 7 is made up of the numbers 2 and 5, which have to do with partnership and change, or chaos. Chaos in partnerships. And so that was coming out over the 4th house. So there's something about chaos in your connection that you need to protect yourself from, like your ancestors are protecting you as well. Has to do, it's affecting your security in some way. And then in the 3rd house, another communication house, because that's come through a bit too. We have the number 3, and this is the 3rd house as well, but this is the number 3 domino coming out over the sun, where we have the bat upside down coming out as well. So the bat has to use their instincts, their intuition, or I should say their sonar, in order to be able to navigate and communicate with each other. And this is the house of communication, or the 3rd house, the number 3 domino, but it's made up of the number 2 and 1, right? Taking the lead, or you know, again, navigation and communicating. So taking the lead and being able to navigate that with others. They're saying really follow your instincts and your intuition, but definitely take the lead, because it came out over the sun. I think that's all of the charms. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that here. I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around and watch your sun, moon, or rising. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, anything, hit the notification bell, anything you can to help me, and it really, really does help me. So I thank you for watching. Hello, group 3. Oh, we got the Pleiadians with peach calcite, harmonize. So I love this energy together. So interesting because it says unconditional love, excitement, and laughter. And then you've got harmonize with the peach calcite. Very beautiful energy. Let's go ahead and get a couple extra crystals because not everyone is going to like wearing or working with peach calcite. So let's see what other crystals may be of benefit to you. We have, hold on, the song Keep On Loving You. It's exactly 4:32 p.m. I know you can't see it on my phone, but so that's an angel number that you're going to want to look up, but it's Keep On Loving You by REO Speedwagon. So interesting, unconditional love, harmonize, and then you've got Keep On Loving You. All right, so we have Labradorite with free will. Interesting. Paired with the song, this is almost like energy of someone saying like, I love you enough to let you go kind of thing. I don't know, it's so weird. Well, paired with this card here, free will, right? It's also saying I'm gonna love you, you know, regardless because it's my choice, right? Interesting, we've got Charoite with individualization and dioptase with the healing heart. So again, like this is more of like this determination of this is what I, you know, this is what I want. This is who I love. Almost as if like there was someone trying to talk you out of it or something, but you're like, and maybe, I don't know, it's so weird. I love the way these two cards right here are playing off of each other, the colors though, I have to say, especially with this card, right? So this is like, and it's talking about the free will and individualization between these two cards as well. But it's like you've made your decision and you're going to stick to it. It's kind of how it feels. And in a way, it's very healing. Like there's something about that that's just very healing because it says the healing heart here with this dioptase. So let's read what it says about Pleiadians here in the book. We have the song, ODD, Hey Violet. All right, so the Pleiadians, or the Plejarians, I don't know if I'm saying that right. The Pleiadians come from the dazzling Seven Sister star cluster located in the eye of the Taurus Bull constellation, 444 light years away, making it one of the nearer star clusters to Earth. The Pleiadians predominantly reside on planet Era, which is similar to Earth. Pleiadians are a descendant genotype from ancient Lyrans. So interesting, this song coming through for this. Anyway. Pleiadians are humanoid and, like many off-planet beings, are distant cousins to Terran Earthlings. They are 80 light years beyond humans. They thrive in an advanced, prosperous, and extremely healthy lifestyle where all are comfortably cared for. Representational forms of money exchange are not part of their civilizations. They choose not to have massive, overcrowded cities and instead opt for smaller communities evenly distributed to participate in the natural ecological care of their homeland environment. Eons ago, the Pleiadians nearly destroyed their civilization due to ego conditioning prior to their fifth dimension transition. The Arcturians were their immediate mentors in overcoming their ascension obstacles. They typically stand 6 to 8 feet tall and are very similar in appearance to humans. They have Nordic-like fair features and are usually light brunettes to blondes with green to blue eyes coloring. Besides height, one noticeable difference is their ears, which tend to be lower and slightly pointed. Due to their sophisticated social values and structures, all look extremely healthy by generalized comparison to humans and do not suffer the sicknesses we do. They typically live to around 700 Earth years, though do not age like we do. Ancient Navajo, Cherokee, Lakota, Dakota, and Aboriginal Australians have legends of the Pleiadian people teaching them. And it's funny, it's saying, I can hear when they talk that trash, saying any day she gonna crack. So maybe like you get made fun of or something for your beliefs. Especially if you're like, if you live in a commune, because that's kind of what it was describing here, right? Like living in, what does it say here? They choose not to have massive, overcrowded cities and instead opt for smaller communities evenly distributed that participate in the natural ecological care of their homeland environment. So maybe people are making fun of you about that. And they're saying, you know, eventually you're going to get tired of living, you know, off-grid, right? Because that's what it sounds like to me, off-grid or something. Anyway, it says Pleiadians are fun-loving spiritual beings with much love in their hearts. So in the healthy aspect of this card is fun, unconditional love, bonding, bridging, excitement, laughter, enthusiasm, enjoyment, contentment. There's charm, satisfaction, sincerity, and play. We have the song Only God Can Touch Me. Hold on. Only God Can Judge Me, Tupac. I'm hearing Only God Can Touch Me, but, you know, I don't know, take that however it resonates. And it's not like I don't know the song, but that's just how I heard it, so just take it however it resonates. Only God Can Touch Me, whatever that's it, whatever. Anyway, so and we were getting ready to talk about the toxic energy, and I almost said that's kind of like arrogant, but, you know, again, like I say, we're getting ready to get into the toxic energy, so you might be in your toxic energy, and they're asking you to you know, heal that, do something about that. But anyway, so the toxic energies are narcissism, an inflated ego, dissatisfaction, excessive vanity, superficiality, and insincerity. So, yeah, take that however it resonates, especially if you're like a leader, if you're living in a off-grid kind of commune type of situation, or that's what you want to do, or you're leading something around that. Like, be careful of getting a little overinflated in your ego, I should say. Okay, so there's something about, like, there might be some struggle with this living situation, these smaller cities, whatever, living more ecologically. There might be some struggle with finding your next meal or something. Maybe that's why the first song was saying something about, or the part that was standing out was any minute now she gonna crack, right? Like people are laughing at the way that the belief system that you have because they see how hard it is and the struggle that you have sometimes to feed yourself. You've got the Chariot here, maybe also because you're having to walk, maybe, or maybe there's something about like your car is very, what's the, like very, it's an eco car, not that, it's an eco car, but what is it? You'll know what I'm talking about if you have that type of car. I don't know, there's something, or maybe you walk a lot because you don't like using the gas or something. Look at, there it is again, it's wanting to come out. So there's something in this message, something about your car or the transportation, but it really looks like he's walking the majority to me, even though he is the one driving the Chariot and he does have a passenger here. It feels like that's the only reason that the car would be used is if there's a passenger. The rest of the time it's either walking or maybe a bicycle. Ooh, interesting, my lights just flashed. I was getting ready to say motorcycle or bicycle, but the, you know, I don't know, take that however it resonates. Like maybe you typically ride a bike, right? But you have a car and you only use the car if you have passengers, something, whatever. Okay, so how are you supposed to use this energy? God, that's a lot, but I feel like, hold on, I feel like we need these two, and I feel like at least this one and this one. How many is that though? Oh, it's only 3. Okay, we'll take all 3 of these. Okay, but it goes like this. Hold on. This is how I was seeing it, how it was like, it goes like that. 2, 3, 2. All right, and now we have the Devil on the bottom of the deck. Very interesting Devil too. Look at his clothes are kind of mismatched, like he's two-sided. And I know that that typically would mean like two-faced, but there's something, it's very interesting because we're coming back to the thing about the Chariot with the car. Like you only drive the car if you have a passenger, but the majority of the time you're walking. There's like a dual side to your nature, which is obvious, like that's typical for Gemini anyway, but this is kind of like very obvious probably for you. Could even be bipolar, I have to admit, only because of, look at his face, hold on. He just looks like a goth, right? He looks like he's wearing makeup or something, hold on. Anyway. There we go. He looks like he's wearing makeup or something, or there's something, there's two sides to his nature, or, yeah. Oh, hold on, we have this song. Say My Name, Godsmack. Interesting that God has come up twice in this reading so far. Only God can touch me, and I know the song is Only God Can Judge Me, but I heard Only God Can Touch Me very clearly. And now this with Godsmack, Say My Name, Godsmack. More of that sort of arrogance. Interesting, very interesting. Hold on, let's see what this is. I feel like it needs to go like this. All right, so we have the Queen of Wands with the King of Pentacles. So this is like a pair of people, a couple of people, maybe a partnership. My lights just flashed again. I feel like it goes like this. Now we have the Ace of Cups, the, what is this? The Knave of Cups. Hold on. And then we have the Knave of Swords. So, all right. So we've got the Ace of Cups, the Page of Cups, the Page of Swords, all new energy. It's like presenting, because look at, she's being highlighted in the cup here, right? Something about presenting something. This is definitely a partnership. Interesting though that the King of Pentacles, it's like somebody is partnering with two other people, because look at the King of Pentacles here. It's not one person in this card, so someone is partnering with two other people. That's number one. Okay. And it keeps saying, you're going to say my name, you're going to say my name, right? Someone's being showcased, or something is being showcased, some sort of offer or something. Five of Wands with now the Page of Pentacles. Competition, but it's like they're not fighting each other. They're actually working together to keep each other balanced. You can see, look at like her dress, like she doesn't have any legs, it's her dress, really the same thing there. Her dress is her legs, so, and their dresses or their legs are what is creating the wands there that they are using to do these acrobatics. So they're supporting and helping each other, right? In some sort of like circus or show or something. Some sort of show. Just literally, it kind of looks like a circus when you put the two together. Like, you know how there would be acrobats at a circus, right? Five of Pentacles is like friendly competition. It's not competition that where people are really trying to hurt each other. It's like the kind of competition that you would find at work or in sports or something. You know, so take that however it resonates. Maybe your job is competitive. Maybe you sell something, because this is the Page of Pentacles. So you're trying to sell something and your job is very competitive. But again, everyone is all working together. It's very good energy. Interesting that we had kind of a long break between songs, and now we went from, oh, we've got the Optimist, 10 years. The Optimist, 10 years. So probably whatever this is, it's going to last for at least a decade. It's some sort of collaboration. Let's get some clarification. Just anything else they want to add that might, you know, any other information they want to add to this before we move on to see what you need to be aware of over the next month concerning this energy, okay? Right now we're just looking at overall for your life in general, long term, but with the charms we're going to look at the next month from the time you watch this. Ooh, okay, so there's some indecision as well. I almost said it here with this card because look at the road in the background, right? It's leading all the way up, but it also looks like it's veering off from a separate path over here. It's just, maybe it's a visual effect, but it looks like there's one path over here and then boom, it goes all the way up that way. So maybe there's a choice or a different path to take, because I am kind of feeling pulled between that. So let's see, we have, look at the eight of probes. That's a lot of communication, a lot of information coming in. Now we have temperance, imbalanced or unbalanced, probably angry communication, but I didn't want to say it because like some of these probes look a little painful. Let's be honest, we know what those probes are. They look a little painful, so maybe it's unbalanced, painful information and communication that's happening that you need to be aware of. Even though all of the rest of this looks very positive, we're just going to keep these two the way that they... Oh, look at, now we have the Magician, but we're going to ignore the Magician for right now, even though it is your energy. It is Gemini energy. We're going to ignore it for now and put those off to the side because I want to look at these. The Hierophant, this is your wisdom, or at least somebody is sharing their wisdom with others. You see the crowd there. Yoga, probably. Or, you know, something to get yourself in balance, right? I'm only saying yoga because of the way she's sitting. All right. We have the song Sweet Love, Anita Baker. Okay. Look at the star. We already kind of saw that a little bit over here. Same, almost exact image. Both of them, she's immersed in the water, but you know, kind of being showcased or spotlit, right, in the water. So there's something about your emotions being spotlit, or how you feel, or something. We do have the Nine of Swords, and so especially as I was saying how you feel, but the star is coming after the Nine of Swords, and after the Nine of Swords comes after the Six of Swords. So it's saying that you're moving on from this energy and you're healing, right? But you are right now in this moment, probably while you're watching this, sitting in this energy. But once you're able to fully move on from that and you get yourself to where you get these two to converge over here, right? Doesn't mean that it completely gets rid of that Nine of Swords fear. You just have to get over the fear, right? Put it in the background, get yourself to try to get as calm as you can so that you can do this, because this is what you're supposed to do with all of this energy over here. You're supposed to somehow share your knowledge when it comes to eco-living, communal living, gardening, sustainably resourced goods and products, right? All of that type of stuff. I think that's what you're supposed to do with this Pleiadian energy. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the charms. Give me a second. Get this cleared up. We're going to move on to the charms to see what your month looks like. Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising. I'm losing light, so I think this is probably going to be my last recording that I do, at least for today. DM, like direct message, I don't know, that's just me, or MD, take that however it resonates for you. So the first thing is that we have a special message here, particularly because it's coming from, you know, or sitting over the 8th and 9th houses, and you've got a piece of hematite along with this charm. You see it, you know it's there. You are absolutely attracting messages from your ancestors to you. You're asking them to speak to you. They are 1000% speaking to you. Yes, yes. Also, if you're wondering, like, If you are magnetic or sexually attractive, yes. But that was just kind of a side message for somebody, I think. Beyond that, this is 1000%. You're receiving messages from, you know, at least one ancestor who's passed on, who's likely feminine, just because of where this particular charm came from and why I put it in the box. I put it specifically for that, to mean this message, that it's a message of love coming from a feminine who's passed on to you specifically, especially when it's coming this way over the 8th and 9th houses. It's saying that you are aware of it subconsciously, you are trying to attract it with the hematite, and it is absolutely working. It's just your confirmation for that. Also, you have cherries coming out over the 7th house. So there's something about transformation that can be very abundant and healing for you over the next few months in terms of your relationships. But it ties into the 8th house because the cherries is a sort of Scorpio symbol, because cherries, especially cherry blossoms, they die quickly, but then you're left with this fruit, right? So there's something about the death or ending of a relationship that can be very abundant for you within the next several months. I'm sorry that that would not focus. It's very frustrating to me that it wouldn't. Hold on, come on. There we go. So anyway, you know, use the ending to your advantage. It can be very abundant for you. I'm going to kind of come over here for a second because you have this bow, which talks about a gift that I think you're not using. You're not paying attention to a healing gift that you have, but you'll need it within the next couple of months. You might need it to be of service to someone else, especially if it's focused in this area up here. If you come over to the 11th house, which is your network, your social circle, your friends, anything online, you've got the B and you've got the letter D, right? So this is a person, place, or thing that's going to be important to this area of your life. Probably, you know, a person that you know, but it doesn't have to be. It's just that I say that because this is the house of your social circle. It's something that is going to be a lot of work that you don't realize how much work is going to be attached to it. And I say that because the B was upside down. And then you need, especially because you need to take care of yourself. Like you need to heal behind the scenes. Take that however it resonates, because it could be like heal behind the scenes before you get back out there, but I don't think that's for everybody. I really don't. I feel like that's a very specific message. Like it's not for everybody. I feel like this is, you know, you need more, like if you, with this, for most people, what it would be saying is you're going to need more healing time than you're going to be able to get with this situation here if you accept it, right? Like there's something hidden that messes with your self-care routine or something that is, you're not going to like it. It's not going to make you happy in any way. Okay, for your first house, we have the rulers. It's saying that you need to be measured, especially with your words, because this is Gemini rising in the first house, right? So Gemini rising is very talkative, so you're going to have to be very measured and careful with your words. On the over the second house, you have the number 8 domino. And you have the moon with some stars. So I feel like this is like a nighttime reference with the moon and stars. There's definitely something happening at night that can be very abundant for you. It's some sort of partnership, you know, a partnership regarding love or money that can be very abundant for you at night. It is coming over the second house, so I would say it's like a partnership regarding money. It's very lucrative. We also have Go See Explore with the Swan. So, okay, the second house, and then you've got the number 2 and the number 6. The second house is the house of Venus. The number 6 is the number of Venus. And then we've got Go See Explore with the Swan. There could be something about beauty care regimen, your own beauty, something about that that's attached to money that can be very lucrative for you, that maybe a nighttime beauty routine, skincare line or something like that, that's creative and transformative for people. Then you've got the letter M coming out over the 3rd and 4th houses. And then you have the Christmas bells coming out over the 4th and 5th houses. So it feels like they're all connected, right? Because it's sitting kind of on the cusp of both. Also with this Go See Explore, I feel like there's like news. There's news, like especially if you go and you travel. Oh, look at, I think the numbers on this are 365. Hold on. And the song that just came on said something about all I do is work. Look at 365, Go See Explorer. There's something about this over here. You would be traveling all the time, meeting new people, probably. It would be a lot of overnight travel that would have to do with like beauty lines, something. It can be very joyful, very creative for you. Also, you have Libra on the 5th house. Libra is very concerned with like outer beauty, right? Or like, you know, how beautiful they are. Like for Taurus wants to beautify their space. They like beautiful textures and scents and tastes and things like that. It's very sensory. Whereas Libra likes beautiful faces and looking at themselves, making themselves beautiful, I should say. So again, I feel like there's something about beauty products coming through with this, right? Something very creative because of these 2 houses, but there's a lot of work attached to it. All I do is work with this song from Pop Evil. The name of the song is Work, Pop Evil. But I think you're gonna love it because of the Christmas bells. It's like the Christmas bells are supposed to ring in the joy, right? The joy of Christ's birth or the joy of the celebration. Can be attached to an M, person, place, or thing. One last song. No, it's actually still the same song. It just sounds different. Interesting. So there's a part of the song that's going to sound different that you're going to want to pay close attention to. I didn't pay attention to the lyrics myself, but I'm going to go ahead and stop the reading here. I hope that resonates, but if it does not, please stick around for your sun, moon, or rising. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, anything you can to help me, because it really does help me. And for that, I thank you for watching.